So the first thing I want to say is for all of you guys that are watching this live right now, thank you so much for joining us. For those that you get to watch this later as we are recording it, we are just excited to give you as much help and perspective at this time. And so with that, the way I like to start is I like to give a little bio on each person that is here. And I just want to thank you guys. Honestly, you guys, thank you so much for your time and being a part of this. The industry thanks you so much because you guys are such amazing leaders and so many people look up to you guys. And I'm very, very, very humbled that you guys said yes and you're part of the Together We Talk panel for today. So with that being said, I'm going to go through each one. So we're going to start off with Kimberly Kennedy.
Hi.
There she is. Kim is a passionate hairstylist, wife, and mom. She's been featured by publications including Modern Salon, Behind the Chair, Style Seat, and more. Kim shares her personal experience to help hairstylists creating thriving businesses so they can live happy, wealthy, fulfilling lives and doing what they love. Thanks so much for being here, Kim.
Thanks.
All right, our next up is Allie. Allie is a full-time hairstylist behind the chair in Los Angeles. With a passion for all things beauty, she is known for her blondes and balayages. Allie is also a successful beauty blogger, and if you are looking for some fun tutorials and styling tips, head over to her YouTube channel and check those out. Thanks for being here, Allie. Next up, we have Hollie. Hollie is a creative spirit and an expert balayage artist based out of Stockton, California. From taking classes to teaching them, Hollie stays up on her education to consistently deliver the best and most beautiful results to her clients. Thanks so much for being here, Hollie.
Thank you for having me.
Christy. Christy is a proud owner of Luxe Beauty Company. She is a Redken certified colorist and is extremely passionate about helping stylists grow their careers. Christy is also one of Salon Scale's original customers and has helped provide valuable customer insights to help improve our app along the way. Thanks so much for being here, Christy.
Thanks for having me.
Ashlee Norman. Ashlee is a salon owner, educator, and stylist behind the chair. She is committed to education and can be frequently found traveling to each hairstylist from all over the United States and Canada. Ashlee teaches a collection of methods she's learned and evolved on her own. It's her belief that each stylist is their own artist, and with the solid technical theory and an arsenal of techniques, they can learn to problem solve and create their own aesthetic. Thanks for being here, Ashlee.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Next up, we have Rachel. Rachel is the creative director and founder of the Beauty Lounge in Texas. She specializes in blondes, balayage, and hand-tied extensions. Rachel has trained with some of the industry's best and is certified in laced hand-tied extensions method. She is the leading extension specialist in the Woodlands and surrounding areas, as well as an educator for laced. Rachel also attends advanced education classes across the global, elevating herself, her career, with certified hand-tied extensions, beauty coaching, and a master balayage techniques.
Thanks for having
me here. Allison. Allison owns Citrine Salon in Millbrook, New York. And she's a master hairstylist, especially in lived-in color, looks, blondes, and bridal styling. She is also a trust professional brand specialist, a Finola artist, and an educator. Allison has 10 years of experience behind the chair and has acquired several major features in this time, including Behind the Chair, American Salon, Modern Salon, Best of Balayage, Master of Balayage, and most recently, she's been published in the Beauty Launchpad magazine for 30 under 30 top colorists. Thanks for being here, Allison.
Thank you for having me.
And now we have Michelle. Michelle has more than 15 years of experience in the beauty business. She works as a stylist behind the chair. She also educates and mentors other stylists, helping them grow in the industry. not only is Michelle devoted to this industry, but also her clients and her continuously refining her skills to give them hairstyles they love. As usual, this group is just filled with nothing but the best from the best perspectives from all around. We've got educators, we've got team leaders, we've got business coaches, business owners, and of course, all of us love this industry so much. So again, thank you so much, ladies, for being here, and I'm so excited to get things started today. Perfect. Okay, so once again, if you have any questions, there is the chat box. So go ahead and talk in the chat or ask the questions in the question section, and then we'll open those up at the end. But the very first thing is, I kind of want to talk to you guys about a few things. I'm going to open up my email here, and I want to kind of talk to you about the first topic, which is going to be about your staff. So one of the big things that we had a lot here is that people were asking about how do they keep their staff inspired right now? How do they keep them excited? And it's kind of like a double question. How do I keep them excited? How do I keep them ready and patient? And then do I bring back all my staff? So this is like a hard question. So if anyone wants to take that away, you can start, and then I'll try my best to kind of navigate between each and every one of you. But let's start with that kind of topic.
I can kind of jump in there on this one. So I do own a salon in the Woodlands, which is north of Houston. It's called the Beauty Lounge. And we have 25 people that work at the salon. And so, during this time, I have 25 people looking to me for inspiration, motivation, answers to things that I don't really have answers to, such as when we can reopen and things like that. And so what my manager, Erin, and I are doing is we were basically, when this all occurred, we put together a disaster pay schedule, and we let them know, like, hey, this is what this looks like. Here are the dates. These are the dates, because we're still paying our team right now. These are the dates that you're going to get paid. Here's the amounts. Here's how we calculated the amounts. These are a list of things that we would really like to see from you during this time, and almost like encouraging them to take this time. It's basically like a forced pause in our lives, to just take this time and, catch up on family time and be able to do things like that in their personal lives that they have, had to, put off or, sacrifice to be able to be at work. But to also give them this time to really grow as an artist. So grow their social media following, put out really amazing content, create tutorials, and connect with their clients during this time. Instagram is a free tool, but it costs your time, right? And a lot of time. We all know this. And so by, basically encouraging them to make that part of their work day. So still be in a routine and have a certain, amount of time during the day that they're going to dedicate to working, either doing a tutorial, a TikTok, saving images or going back through their phones of all the photos that, I have everything in my phone. It's hair, kids, hair. And I have so many photos that I have not posted and videos and all kinds of things that, I haven't gotten to. And so this is a perfect time to be able to do that. And so by giving them a list of things, or almost brainstorming of things they could be doing during this time, that kind of help them stay focused and allow them to, understand that, yes, we want you to do family time. So don't feel bad if you're doing that stuff or you're doing house projects, but here are the things that you can do to, stay busy, because we're all super busy in the salon. And, you take somebody that's used to being, productive, all day long, every day, and creative, and then you pluck them out of that environment. A lot of us are who are we? What do I even like to do? And it's hard because, we don't have that typical 9 to 5 where we sit at a desk and we have a list of things that we have to get done. We're used to creating things. And so by encouraging them to create things from home, whether it be like digitally or tutorials, things like that, that's kind of helped them feel more normal.
Awesome.
And so doing like weekly team calls is really important too. Just so you can see each other's faces, and then just everybody can just know that like we're all together, that we're not alone.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. If anyone can kind of comment about maybe some of that, like what they're already doing as well right now to keep people engaged through this time, that would be awesome.
I'm going to go ahead and jump in right here. I love what Rachel said in the sense of like, who are we? Because when we spend all day behind the chair and then you're forced to sit down and like not do what we know how to do. I mean, I started like baking. I was like organizing my beauty cabinet and all that fun stuff just to like try and stay motivated. But as far as the things that I'm trying to do is like go through my camera roll, like she said, create content for when we're finished with all this. And kind of, I mean, I know that we've all said it like, oh, I wish I had a break right this second. I mean, this is kind of the forced break that we all have, because when the floodgates are like open, everyone's going to be running to the salon and they can't wait to see all of us. So I think like kind of creating like Instagram stories and making it accessible for our clients to still feel like they are getting to know us and if we didn't forget them has been really important. And I feel like the best feedback I've been getting is like Instagram stories and kind of like engaging with our friends and clients.
I would love to take this over to Michelle and talk about, keeping people like thinking about a different way. I know that we have kind of talked about like an affiliate program and like how to like kind of maximize some more profits at this time and find other ways of having revenue. Especially this is going to be like stylists and salon owners. So Michelle, this would be a perfect time for you to kind of talk about your program and like a little bit more about that kind of stuff so that we can like help people when they come back, how to maximize their profits when they come back behind the chair.
Perfect. Yeah, so I have a little bit of a unique story. I had actually just opened up my first salon ever 5 months ago. And before that, I was working at a very large salon. So I hear you when I'm hearing like the whole thing of bringing your team together, and I love that. Right now, I'm a team of 3, so it's a little bit different. So when this happened, I decided that it was important for me to really take something that I had been working on to the next level. And that's really coaching and helping other stylists that are working for me and myself to take affiliate marketing to the next level. So what I started sharing and implementing was a way of reaching out to brands and getting them on board. First of all, 6 weeks ago, I think that there were like a handful of brands. Now there's over 20 who allow you to make a commission where the products now ship straight from their warehouses to your client. So this has been an amazing opportunity for us to stay connected with our clients. So I always talk about like serving in a bigger way. So yes, it's an amazing opportunity for you to make money, but now you can take your content creation and put a whole new spin on it, because now you're featuring and talking about the things that you already love behind the chair now in a new way online or on your Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is, or even just text marketing or email marketing, really doing a product spotlight or reaching out to your clients individually and asking them what's working for them at home, what's not working for you, and then you be able to make a hair care regimen that's just for them while they're away. We know that their color means the world to them, but also just being able to, when the time comes to style their hair, even though they're in quarantine, it's been an amazing way for me to feel connected to my clients during this time, get a little bit of a kickback, and then also give my clients an opportunity to support me. And the love I have gotten from other stylists in utilizing this new way has been amazing to just really connect our industry to our clients. So that's a little bit without getting too crazy involved.
Awesome.
Right now.
Well, thanks, Michelle. And anyone watching this, you can head over to her Instagram and you can check out those kinds of things that she has going on. Actually, just go ahead and follow everyone on this panel and then check out everybody because they're all amazing. I would love to talk about the inspiration to our industry, our stylists, our communities, and our companies. And I would love to kind of have this as a 2-part between Constance and Ashlee, because both of you guys are incredible educators. And I think I've been just engulfing everything that you're teaching, and it's just like so uplifting. You guys are incredible educators. So I'd love to talk about, the perspective of being educators at this time, and how do you keep your, inspirational vibes going on, and how do you keep digging in a time right now? And like, as we hit the reset button, what should people focus on right now?
I'll start if that's okay. I think first and foremost, the thing to focus on is that like everybody is doing their own thing, and that's okay, whatever that thing is. And so for some people, it's continuing to create. I see a lot of people still doing mannequins. I see people, doing artistic projects that are non-hair related. And then sometimes people just need that moment to just rest and reset and process what's going on. And so for me as an educator, I've really been just pushing out like, resources if people want them, but like also like taking the pressure away that like during this time, like we don't have to like turn into this whole new person. And, if you're not doing XYZ, you're failing your quarantine time. Like everybody needs to do what they need to do for them personally, because everybody's personality is different. And also just reaching out to people who perceivably seem like they have their stuff together. Sometimes it's those strongest people that need the most checking in, because they're giving energy to everybody else all day long. And sometimes people just forget to check in with those people. So for me, it's just like keeping connected with the community, whether that's doing like Instagram Live or just lots and lots of FaceTiming with people, lots of Zoom calls, just maintaining that relationship with not only other artists in my network, people, my team, my salon team, and then also my clients as well, just checking in to make sure they're all okay.
I think all of that is like a lot of the same things. For me, I try to tell people that, there's a lot of pressure to pour out, and sometimes they forget to pour in. So I think that's maybe kind of piggybacking on what you were kind of just saying. So what I like to say is like, you can't pour out from a place of emptiness. So you kind of have to pour into yourself first. And then you also can't inspire from a place of a lack of gratitude. So you have to find that grounding in your gratitude for what's right in front of you. So I've kind of been focusing on leading from an example. So what that means is like focusing on what my foundation is, which number one is my foundation is my family. So I have 2 toddlers. I have a 2 and a 4-year-old. And so being quarantined with young children is not easy. And I think at the same time, we have to think that, okay, yeah, when we do get back to work, we're going to be super, super busy. So whatever time that we do have, we can take that captive and be present with those loved ones we wouldn't necessarily have this extra time with, number one. And then number 2, if there is something that you're wanting to work on or wanting to push yourself in a certain area, like for me, I did want to work on some doll heads. I wanted to learn a new product line. I wanted to work on some shorter shapes and cuts. So that's what I've been doing with my time, and then connecting with my team. I don't have a large team behind the chair because I am in a studio. So I have a couple people that share my studio, but for the most part, my team is on the road. So I have a lot of stylists in different states, and we have been just kind of FaceTiming and keeping in touch and just texting and, making sure everyone is, feeling like they have that personal contact and encouragement. But I haven't been like doing a crazy ton of like pouring out in terms of like a live classes on social media every day, because I kind of just made a decision that I needed this time to pour back into myself. So like you said, each person is taking it individually, because what I want to do, or I want to be in a place where I can like go hard and pour out when this thing is over. And if I drain myself now, I'm not going to be ready for that. So
I think that's a great perspective. I think, sometimes we as leaders, and when you're an educator, like you want to keep putting yourself out there, but, at the end of the day, there will be tomorrow and people will come back. So it's also time to take those moments of chill and enjoy the time with the family. I mean, there's many people on here that are parents and that have dealt with, this time being with their kids. So it's definitely a new change, and it's completely, it's completely a new, but preserving as much energy at this time is definitely necessary. I kind of want to talk to both Allison and Christy, because both of these salon owners are handling, I just watched them kind of rise through this. So the one thing I noticed right away was that they stood up as leaders. They're like, we're going to help our community. We're going to go e-commerce. We're going to find ways to like give curbside options, and we're going to jump in. So like they were really ahead of this thing, and they, I think they uplifted a lot of people around them, including myself. So I'd love to kind of like talk about what it was like to just like turn it into another gear, and to put yourself into those situations, and what your plans are for the e-commerce after.
I mean, I'll start. So honestly, I think it was more of just the fact that I'm always on the go, which I feel like so many of us are. I felt like I just had to do a switch and figure out how am I going to survive, because I just opened my salon 5.5 months ago. So I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Obviously, none of us ever thought that we would have to be going through this, but I was like, okay, I just opened my salon, and obviously I have lots of bills to pay, and I didn't really didn't know about the whole unemployment thing. I was bouncing back and forth between, paying my girls and, what I had to do with my team. So I was like, okay, well, how can we make money? So the first thing I did was like curbside pickup for our products, which all of our clients loved. And then I put together, I'd have like a line of totes, and I just did like little tote bags with like different products in it and stuff, and set prices. And like my clients love them. We had people like from all over, like just like snatching them up. We were shipping. It was great. So I definitely encouraged like a lot of people to do that, because it just helps your business make some money while your doors are closed. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like you got to figure something out. And I feel like we all have that in us, where we're like, okay, well, what can we do next? What is there that we can do to keep this business going or for us to make money? And it's just, I was like, all right, what do we got to do?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I felt really, really lucky because we actually had the e-commerce site up for about a year. And it wasn't something that I had put any time into, and it really is a whole other beast. So I was really kind of excited and grateful to have the opportunity to grow it. And I think like as leaders, we always just kind of like step into action, right? And so for me, it wasn't even the thought of like the pivot, because for me, the pivot is like you're still standing still. For me, it was just like, we've got to move. We've got to move, and we have to move now. And failure is not an option. Like we have to figure out how to do this, how to still serve our clients, how to still give back to them, because they still need hair care. They're just in a different zone, right? And I know even for myself, like I'm struggling with my hair. I would love a haircut right now. My roots are horrendous. So it was just like, how do we utilize the e-commerce site that we have? And I think too, like the industry is moving in a different direction too. And that might be something that grows into being more of what everybody's doing, is offering different options for convenience, for, lives are just different. People are crazy all the time. So how can we just kind of serve our clients better and just still give to our clients, going back to the why, like why are we doing this? How can we serve people? How do we help them? And just doing it kind of on a different platform in a different way. And so I think even we've had some clients request some virtual consultations. Like, can you do a FaceTime with me to recommend some products, and then I can go to the site and buy them and things like that. So I think it's just like just taking action and just moving. But everyone's doing it in their own way, right? And so it's really interesting, and it's cool to see all of the different shifts that are happening.
Oh, I agree. I'm with you on that. I'm like, every day I take note of how many people are rising in this moment. And one of those people is Miss Hollie. I think one thing about Hollie, is, being innovative in this time. And I, seen you recently post some new swag that you've made. But just like stuff like that, like, where does your mind go when you're like, okay, like here's an option, and then you just like went for it? Because there's a lot of people that are like, oh, maybe I should, coulda, woulda, but like you're an action taker. So maybe you talk to them about first of all, what the swag is, because people are going to want it. And then second of all, just like your mindset of like how you like just went for it.
So I'd actually been thinking of creating like a shirt or something that I could just sell to my clients, something that kind of like a business card, if you will, has my name on it. They wear it out in public. People see that. I'd been wanting to do that for a long time. And as the requests for color kits and product have slowed, and I still haven't got my stimulus check, I still don't have unemployment, my husband was furloughed, like how can I bring in money? And so I just started Googling options the other day, and then happened upon a drop ship website and created my own different designs to put on t-shirts, sweatshirts, tote bags, stuff like that. Put it on a website and launched it. And the support for it has been unreal. Like I thought maybe I would sell maybe 5, but everybody's just been loving it and the feedback has been great. So that just pushes me to do more with that. Because right now there's only so much that we can do. We can, practice on our doll heads. We can, mess around with our kids or our husband's hair. We can FaceTime our clients and help them. But I can't just sit, and I feel like I need something more to do. So that's where that came from.
Well, I love it. I think they're great. I love them. I think they're awesome thing. So you're definitely going to have to check that out too. The next one I want to kind of go to is Kim. I think as a business coach and as someone who has been, thriving by helping others elevate, maybe just speak to us about, we talked about like how to elevate your staff at this time, how to do that, but like, how are you handling that with your customers right now? And what is some advice you're giving to people as they start to hit this reset button? And you'll have to unmute yourself.
Sorry. I think that this time has been so good. Mostly what I've been talking about with like my students and just, on Instagram, things like that with this reset button. And, Constance and Ashlee both talked about this, is the rest. Like we have to rest. And what I'm finding is actually most stylists are, when you rest, you're able to reflect. And what's happening is most stylists are reflecting on that hustle they were in, working 10, 12-hour days. Maybe like they want to take an extra day off because they've got little kids. Like they're realizing that what they actually had was not what they want. It's not matching up. And so a lot of times actually what we talk is about making those shifts now. So when we come back, that maybe you don't work Saturdays anymore. Maybe you cut your hours off at 5 because you want to be home for dinner with your kids. And so what that reset actually looks like, and being able to dream and draft that out. Because so many stylists are starting out fresh. Like they're starting out clean slates. We've had to cancel so many appointments. And so for me, a lot of just even in like the coaching that I do, it's really important as our lives change as beauty professionals and our careers change, that our careers and our life match up. Because I was even at a point before kids when I could be in that hustle. I could work as much as I wanted to. And then I had kids and I was struggling. I was trying to work, keep up with it, but then still have energies divided and split with kids and family. And that was not my dream at all. And so as soon as I made those shifts, like Ashlee's talking about, my foundation is my family. And when I made work fit into my life versus the opposite way around, trying to make my life fit into my work, like, oh my God, I was way more happy. And so that's a lot of like the message that I am sending out to so many that message me that feel stressed about this. Is that to really use this time to rest and reflect, hit that reset button, all those R words, because we love what we do and we want to do it long term. And, our lives change, and this is just one aspect of it. And so I think it's really important to have long-term careers, to make sure that our careers ebb and flow with that. And that's okay. It's okay to make those changes.
I love that. I
Yeah.
think we all probably wrote that down somehow.
Yeah.
Mine's super scribbly, so I'll just have to rewatch this to figure out what I wrote. But that kind of brings me to, again, like we've kind of heard a little bit from each person, and we do have some questions. So I'm going to pull in one question and then we'll kind of come back. But one of the questions that we're getting here is, when salons are reopening, are you putting stylists on shifts, and will you extend your salon hours? And also the second question is about double booking. Will you be doing double booking, and any thoughts on that?
I can answer how we're doing things on that one. So we were kind of, we don't know what our governor is going to say about, rules and things like that moving forward, but to be a little bit proactive and try to at least have some sort of basis to go off of, we are putting together what we're calling like our plan B. So, and we're even having like a plan C. So we have at least like 2 avenues that we can kind of go down, both containing the same sanitation and stuff that we were doing prior to closing, and then we're adding in additional things. But basically what we're going to do is, we are extending our hours until like 9 o'clock at night. And we've asked our team to send us like 3 days that they could work all day. Because, and I don't know what the requirements are in other states, but in our state, it's, you have to be 5 feet from the center of the chair to the next center of the chair. And that's more for like ADA, why that 5-foot rule is there. But if they're saying 6 feet, we're going to have to work every other station, which means that half of us are going to be working each shift. So we are already planning for, basically cutting our team in half on any given day, extending time blocks with clients. It would be nice to not double book, but I just don't feel like or see how we're going to be able to catch up or get, meet everybody's needs financially if we don't do that. But I definitely think that, there's got to be more time added on to everyone's appointments. So we're going to have to literally be rescheduling every single person, whether it's down an hour, another day, whatever. Because, if you're double booking, that's like 6 times you have to spray down that chair and wipe everything down between the 2 people, if they're getting color and a cut. So it's just a lot of extra time. And, and I think that everyone's going to be needing more work done. So just extending time blocks is going to be super, super crucial if you are going to be double booking. And if you're not, I still would extend those time blocks just so you're not, stressed out. And I was doing my daughter's hair the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not as fast as I was a month and a half ago, and so I feel like it's just going to be kind of a little different, like we'll very quickly get our rhythm back, but getting started, it's going to be a little bit slower.
Yeah, I think what we're getting here is just, a lot of people, some people are not going to be allowed to double book just for people in their facilities. But the one thing I know is like, I just love hearing your guys' perspectives, because this is what's going to help so many people is just, having someone close enough to like reach out to you, like, what are you doing? And if anything, this has really connected our community more now than ever. And, as a former salon owner, that was one area that was like really hard for me. It's just like, I was growing, doing all these things, but then it was like a really hard thing to reach out to someone and say like, hey, I'm having this issue. What about you? I feel like so much more connected with people now more than ever. And I see this like huge community coming. So like, I thank people who are stepping up and putting themselves out there, because we don't know all the answers, but all we know is what we can do today. And that means no casting shade on those that are ahead of others than others that are deciding not to wait or whatnot. I think there's a huge kind of controversial moment too. And so we've worked really hard to build this community together. So the only thing I always say is like, let's stay connected. And if others are opening and others just decide to double book or do all this stuff, like that is just their thing that works for them. But I just want us to stay as connected, because we've worked really hard to get here, and let's stay here as long as we possibly can. With that being said, I kind of wanted to take things over to Constance. I think one of the things that I would love to talk to you about is like maybe some of the actions that you're taking right now. Two parts. Number one, what are the actions you're taking with your business? As far as like, are you working on manuals? Or are you working on procedure? Like, what are you doing right now for that? And then the other part too is on the educational front. So, what do you think the new normal will be for education with large gatherings and whatnot? What are you thinking about that?
Well, the first part of it is I actually, a lot of these answers that these girls are giving are so good for me to hear because I don't have employees. I have booth renters, and we kind of all connect as a team and bounce ideas off of each other. And as the leader of the salon, it's my job to enforce policies of what is going to be the new normal in the salon, but it's also I can't really like enforce or make them do certain things as far as like how they contact their clients and stuff like that. So my message to my clients and the salon clients have just been like, we are here to protect you. Like, we are doing everything we can to like keep you safe, and your safety is our priority. And because I think people are just going to be like really nervous about just going anywhere. I know I'm nervous going to the grocery store. Like if I'm like going down an aisle with my little cart and there's like a person there, I like turn around because I'm like scared, So I think just like calming those fears with our clients and letting them know what exactly we're doing for their safety. And then from a manufacturer standpoint, I actually was just on a call with the Matrix team yesterday, and we were just kind of like talking about what the new normal is going to be as far as shows and events. And I mean, to think about being in a convention center with thousands of people, working on models and wardrobe and like all of these things that was so like we didn't really think about before. I really don't see any sort of live events happening anytime soon. Just because number one, people are, again, that fear of being around so many people, but also the finances, to be able to purchase a plane ticket to go to a hair show and be able to purchase the hair show and all of that stuff that goes with it, I think is going to be a struggle for people for some time. But, I think, everybody's just kind of like really adapted digitally, and the fact that people are doing live events like via Zoom and doing lives and showing education, I think everybody's kind of embraced it. But I think that, we're really just gonna have to work on like how we can make that interactive and how we can still have that connection with the hairdresser in that learning environment, while still being distant. So I think it's gonna be a challenge, but I see so many brands and companies just kind of like stepping it up. So I know it's going to be good. I just am very thankful that I'm not the person that has to figure that out logistically.
Yeah.
But yeah, things are definitely going to change. I think it's not forever, but I think it's going to be for a while.
Well, it's, there's a lot of people that are listening to this and will watch this that are, they also run facilities where they booth rent. So it's good to get that perspective there too. And I kind of want to now run over now to Allie. One thing I think, Allie, first of all, I find I just love watching everything you do. I think you're an incredible person, and I just love chatting with you. You're great. I would love to know your perspective as far as, some actions that you've been taking during this time. How did you deal with, the emotional things going on? And then like, what do you predict that this new normal will be?
First things first, I am an independent contractor and I just rent my little spot at my salon. So yes, of course they can make suggestions, but at the end of the day, I'm my own boss. Now, my clients were so, like, I just couldn't even, I cried one of the days just because I was like, wow, people are just, they truly care so much about us. We're not just hairdressers to them. Like, I can't tell you how many girls reached out and were like, can we buy gift cards? Can I buy this? Blah, blah, blah. So it was really awesome. A few of the girls already mentioned, like, this whole thing is going to be different for all of us. And it doesn't matter how long we could have prepared as far as saving, like, financially. I think that it's past finances at this point. None of us knew how to do our business like this. I mean, we're such a hands-on type of a career that I think that it's a good shift for us. I mean, I'm talking to all these girls that are so talented, and I'm so grateful to be here that it's like really rad that I've had the time to be able to like connect with these girls and bounce ideas off of it. And I think that maybe you don't agree with someone over there, but you can take a little bit from it and then be able to implement it into our business. So even like what Constance was just saying, it's like people aren't going to be comfortable necessarily yet. So I think it's our job being their role model to make them feel like comfortable in the ways that we can.
Love it. I think it's so true. I think the you know, like I was watching this thing where they were saying like our society has never understood what a pandemic would look like. And most importantly, we don't know how to come back from the pandemic. So, you know, as exciting as it is that, you know, some places are going to be opening, it's like, we also don't know what it's like, like what clients are going to feel comfortable coming back, which ones aren't. And, you know, are there going to be a lot of like anxiety that we're going to have to deal with, and like, how do we deal with that? So, I kind of would like to kind of take this back again over to Michelle. And, you know, I think one thing too is like Michelle's always like got the coolest little like hacks and trends on her page too. I scroll lots on her page. But I think one thing is just like staying really innovative on like new tips and tricks and some ideas. And I think that causes people to have less anxiety. So I think it helps people stay inspired and have fun, especially to consumers as well. So maybe what are your thoughts about the anxiety from customers coming back? And how are you kind of lean into that issue?
Yeah, and I think it's a combination of what you're saying and what everybody's been saying about just really trying to get comfortable with being uncomfortable and thinking outside of the box. And as much as this is not the most fun time we've ever seen in our lives, we can encourage fun and bring the light in some way, shape, or form. So any piece of content that I'm creating, I'm always having my client in mind. And I'm always just trying to think, what can I do to speak to them in a way that can uplift them or anybody that watches that piece of content. And so I'm just trying to really get more comfortable with being digital, and then being able to allow that digital sort of setup to encourage my business and actually scale it in a way when we're coming out of this. So we all talk about the things that we love to do behind the chair and the things we don't love to do behind the chair. And I think that there's just a way to really be able to solve some of those problems at home and blend it with the experience that they're going to have in the salon as well. So I'm just trying to keep it positive and be inspired in this time to really have a space set up to where we can be more online. So when we talk about affiliate marketing and starting to maybe shift our mind of having to have products on the shelves at all times, I think that that's just like an inventive way to really create a way to sell without a body physically having to come into your space. And I think we just really have to keep continuing to have that conversation, because if we're already saying that maybe we're going to have to work every other station or not so many people at the same time, then we really have to get creative right now. And so even in hearing this, like an aha that I just had with Root Touch-Up Kits, and how it's not really my first thing that I'm doing. I'm not selling them to just anyone. I'm selling them to some of my clients, but it might mean that allowing our clients to do their roots at home and us just taking on the bigger services for the next 3 to 6 months, maybe that's something that we can think about and grow in a way where we can still stay in charge of what that client experience is. And so when they do come back to us for the whole service, that we can still be connected and in contact. I'm having a lot of ahas right now, so I just thought I would share that.
I love that. I think, well, first of all, I get ahas just listening to you guys. I feel like it's really cool to listen to so many different ideas and like where you've been, what you've gone through, what process you did, and then now how you're resetting and coming back. Now's the time where I want to open it up for some questions, and be prepared. There's a few controversial questions coming. And so some of the people like Christy, you know, I still want to hear some more from the Christys, the Allisons, the Hollies, the Kims, some of the Ashleys. So for those ones that I just said, if you want to answer those ones first, I take a tally. Like I actually like tally who's talking, so I make sure it's even. That's how you do this. But basically what I want to do is open those questions. So Kim's going to come with some of those questions, and if you guys want to take it away, we'll go through that. And then, we'll start with some of those questions.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like the ominous voice from above, because we all know that I'm wearing my sweatsuit and my glasses and I haven't showered in a week. So You guys are doing great on camera. I'm just going to be the voice from above. So first of all, thank you ladies for joining us. I look forward to these every time we have them. I get so much good information, even from my perspective. So I did get a few questions over the emails from people that aren't catching us live, but wanted to ask their questions for the replay. And now I do want to say that this is a safe space. Some of these questions are a little bit more controversial, and I really want to piggyback on what Alicia said, that now more than ever, our industry has had this force in front of us. So no judgments from anyone, but one question we had is, what are your opinions on pricing coming back? Especially regarding, we're talking about having to book extra time. We're talking about having to maybe not necessarily double book, things like that. And how do we, well, we'll start there, and then I have a piggyback question onto that. So let's start it off. If anyone wants to take that one and their opinions on pricing coming back.
Well, me personally, I'm still going to continue to utilize my salon scale and just charge parts plus labor and keep it at what it was before. There's no reason to price gouge our clients. And I feel like right now is more important than ever to make sure that like we are charging accordingly and fairly for ourselves, but also for them. If we're just making up numbers and throwing them out there and seeing what sticks, like that's not a way to run the business, and it's not fair for them either. So I'm all about keeping it fair and even for everybody. And if you're charging your worth and for your time, you won't have a problem with money, making more money. Even if you're having less clients, you're going to be fine. So I encourage everybody to use salon scale because I love mine.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback off of that because that is definitely my expertise area, is that formulation of charging your worth. And, you know, you have to know where those numbers are coming from. I think right now what the major struggle that most hairstylists struggle with, just even in general, is emotionally discounting and starting to go down that path. And if you don't know that formula, if you don't know what your product's costing you, what your time is worth, all of those things, you almost have no backbone to have no bearings to judge what you should be charging. Versus knowing those things, then you know exactly what you should be charging it. And if your client can't afford that any longer, or you know, budget is an issue, you can do a couple different things. You can come up with a lower maintenance option, or you can recommend them to another awesome freaking stylist that you know that maybe is just starting out or is more, you know, has a better pricing that fits their budget. That's like the blessing of this industry. I was on a call with beauty school students yesterday, and I was like, you guys, like, you're going to hit the jackpot here soon, like with the most amazing clients that are no longer going to be able to afford some awesome, you know, extravagant salon, and they're going to be turning and coming to you. I mean, I know that's what I'm going to be recommending for, you know, people need services. I think it's a blessing. And I think one mistake that a lot of stylists make is trying to hold on to every single client and never letting them go. And they're mine, and I don't want to lose a single one with a price increase that I ever do. And that's not what it's about. It's about releasing them for some other amazing talented stylist. If somebody didn't release their clients, I wouldn't have any, you know, we wouldn't have the clients. Somebody released them, we got them. It's just an amazing full circle. So, yeah, definitely just what Hollie said, like using the salon scale formula of knowing where that pricing is coming from, you'll be way less likely to emotionally discount after this.
I mean, I think that there's also like a time and a place for increasing your prices, and after a pandemic just isn't when it should be. And that's my personal opinion. Of course, like we're all home and everything like that, and there are essential workers out there that are still making money and everything, but there also are people that are jobless right now or laid off. So I personally, like Hollie was saying, I'm just going to use my salon scale. If I use extra color because she has 2 inches, she has 4 inches instead of 2 inches, I'm going to charge, you know, the extra because that's the formula that we have at my salon. And I think it also rolls back to just having structure in your salon and having structure within your business and just knowing like these numbers and stuff. I think with all of this time that we have at home and everything, like now is the perfect time to tune into your business, hire a business coach, reflect back on the 6 months, last year, whatever it may be, and just kind of get it together. So then if you do feel like you want to raise your prices, like 90 days from now, like whatever, how many days from now, you can revisit that and everything. But I don't think that now is the time. But I did want to bring up one thing that I kind of want to get everybody's opinion on is a service fee for the fact that, we have to have gloves. I'm only piggybacking this off of what I saw with Georgia's opening. There was like gloves, shields, throwawayable capes. Like there was all this stuff that you needed to have in order to open. And, I found some verbiage. I took a webinar the other day and I saw this person, brought it up saying that like, it was the salon scale one saying how, $1 to $3 or $1 to $4. And I wanted to see like what you guys thought about that, if that was something that you're going to implement in your salon, because obviously it's overhead. It's something that we're all going to have to, if we're salon owners, we're paying for, So what do you guys think?
I think personally, if my overhead has to increase, then, it's got to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
So I'm not opposed to a service fee, but I wouldn't be, like charging them like $10, $15 or whatever. But yeah, if I tacking on anywhere between like 1 and 5 per client, depending on how much it costs for me, I don't see a problem with that.
I'm going to go ahead and jump in on this too, because I feel like at the end of the day, I believe that our clients are going to want the most safety. So even if that goes down to $5, I think that they would want the $5 to feel comfortable sitting in our chair. I mean, that's our job. We were prepped for this. This is why we did state board. So I think coming back, this is like the most amazing opportunity to teach like the people below us that are still learning this industry how to be sterile and also like give the best client experience after all of this. Oh my God, I just read in the comments, it's hazard pay. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that was Steve Gomez that talked about this thing. And a lot of people in the network are saying, if it's a government mandated thing, you have to wear this to be safe. And it's going to cost you another $1 to $5 per customer. Then it's not about making money. It's just making sure that you're costing, the supply is covered. And I'm just like Allie said, I'm pretty sure that none of your clients are going to blink knowing that they're being taken care of. And I know for me personally, like I'm choosing to go to the grocery stores that are taking these precautions, like the ones that like are making me stand in a line and doing all that stuff. It's like, hey, I feel a lot more safer and I'm going to stay here. So I think that's pretty neat how that is. I would actually like to talk to Ashlee a little bit here on, again, we do have some questions about tricks and tips on like quicker services. So are you going to come out with any education as far as like quicker services? Because we as an industry moved into doing these like high dimensional services that were taking a lot longer in time. So as an educator and as someone in that kind of field, is there any push or any ideas as far as making quicker services to get more people through the door?
That's a really good question. I definitely think that the foilage techniques that have been driving the trends the last couple of years are extremely labor intensive. So in my classes, we normally do a calculation on how much product was used, how many hours were in the service. And typically a foilage is a 4 to 6 hour service and you've got about $80 to $100 worth of product. So we calculate according to people's time worth, which we usually say is about an hour of their time for doing a haircut, for example. So we use their haircut as a base hourly rate plus the product. And usually, which is really interesting because I've done this calculation in classes for the last 5 years, all across the US, up into Canada, and even over in London. And in different currencies, the average is about $85 to $100 an hour. So, if it's $85 to $100 an hour, your foilage price has got to start, somewhere around like the average could be at least $400. So that's a pretty expensive and time-consuming technique, and maybe people are not going to want to be in the salon for 4 hours. Maybe they're not going to want to pay $400 up front. So it is going to go down to our VIP clients that come in regularly for those smaller appointments, single processes, maybe just some money pieces, simpler services. But I also think the trend is going to drive a little bit more towards more unique cuts and shapes in that direction. I think that's something that's been evolving already before this happened. You know, a lot of things were one lengths, either long one lengths or shorter one length lobs. And you've seen the trends shift into some more intricate shapes like shags. And now you're seeing some hybrid shapes of pixie bobs and pixie shags and all those things. And, you know, a haircut only takes an hour, and it's, you know, it doesn't take as much product either. So, you know, I'm almost thinking, you know, people, if they're looking for a major transformation, they might be looking for even a more dramatic cut, which is kind of exciting for me as an educator to kind of evolve and teach something a little bit different. So that's actually what I've been focusing a lot lately is on cut. But I have also been thinking about coming back, traveling on the road, instead of necessarily teaching the same exact techniques that I've been teaching, just even trying to devolve them a little bit more. You know, less is more, less is more. And I've been working on trying to create more and more and more efficient technique to get it faster. But, you know, it'll be interesting to sit and listen to the students at the beginning of classes when I'm allowed to actually travel and teach them again, and figure out where their pain points are, and then work around those pain points and adapt to what it is that they need at that time.
I love it. I feel like all of us are like, yes, we're going to cut some hair. I think that's awesome. I think that is like a very insightful piece, because I do think a lot of people are going to find to be as creative as they can in a little bit of time. I would like to get some perspective on another question. Kim, if you want to come and talk about that next question, that would be great.
The voice again. Okay, another one I got, and I actually get it frequently in other aspects too, but one that I got recently today in regards to this webinar is, as we come out of this, there's going to be change. That's inevitable. And as leaders, do you guys have any tips and tricks on how we can communicate that change and kind of rally our team towards maybe some changes that are a bit scarier for implementing new systems or things like that? How do we communicate that to our team? Yeah, what are your guys' opinions on that? Christy, I'm looking at you because I know that you have some really good tips on rallying teams towards change.
I think that what I've learned, especially in the last few years of business, but I think it's really important just to be like open, honest, transparent, and even a little bit vulnerable with our teams. Like, it's not a bad thing to let them know what the numbers look like. It's not a bad thing to teach them a little bit about the cash flow and to teach them a little bit about what this has looked like for us, why it's important, always going back to the why, right? Like why our pay structures are the way that they are, why we do things a certain way. Because if we're not handing that down to them and not teaching them that, then we're not really doing anything good for the industry moving forward, right? I think, again, like now more than ever, the systems are so important. So if anyone was questioning salon scale or the pricing, the perfect pricing method, now like they'll definitely understand it, because it's going to be so extra important to have a system and a way of charging so that our clients value it and appreciate it. But yeah, I think that's going to be part of my strategy moving forward. Just that honest, open, vulnerable, and just the transparency, and just working together just to kind of find that new normal and just to move forward and make sure that we're creating and building strong businesses.
I love it. Rachel, I would love to take this to you, because This girl is just wild. She's out there making these boxes, putting them out there. But one thing is her brain around numbers is just wild. She knows a lot about it, and she really zones in on that. So I'd love to know how you're communicating to your team, to help increase productivity at this time. But like, how are you diving into those numbers, we say, and what are your what's your perspective on this?
So I definitely agree with Christy on like keeping your team in the loop and like letting them know what numbers do look like and why you do things the way you do. Especially like, going back to work, everybody's going to be, everything's different, everything's new. And you're going to have all these people staring at you for answers and for predictions of like what's going to be happening. I'm very, very open with my team about our numbers, where we're at. When we were deciding on the disaster pay schedule and like, who's getting paid what, and we showed them like, this is how we reach these numbers. You guys are receiving 50% of your average paycheck. You will get this on this date. This is the amount to expect. You're getting commissions on boxes that are sold and like all these other things. And so, I even taking that, not just being transparent with numbers to my team, but like I've been really transparent with numbers during this time to my clients. Like, and that's a really vulnerable place to be, because like to sit there and send out a mass email blast to like 6,000 clients in our database and tell them, I need your help. Like I need to sell 37 boxes a week just to break even on payroll. That's not me even covering my costs of what I spent to buy this product. That's me just clearancing it out and moving it so it doesn't expire. So I don't, go in the hole a second time, by paying my team. And so I can keep food on their table, and so that has been huge. And it was a very vulnerable, like hit the send button. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how they're going to receive this. But they received it great, and they were extremely supportive, and they were willing to help us any way they could. And I think if you break it down to like a number of whatever it is, like, okay, we need to sell, if you're going to do boxes or going to do color kits or whatever you're doing, we need to sell X amount of these per week, and maybe break it down to like an actual, like a quantity of what you need to do. And with your team, like, hey, I've told them, last week before we do payroll every Thursday for Friday, I'm like, hey, it's Tuesday. We still need to sell 12 more. Like, can you guys please push it and like post these? And, and we hit the goal. We hit above the goal. The second that I kind of just like got out of my own way, basically, and I was like, it's a weird spot. Like, we've never been in this position before where we have to like tell our clients like, hey, we're struggling and we need you, now more than ever. And our clients want us to reopen. They want us to do well. And they want to get their hair done and everything. So I'm definitely all about keeping that transparency between your team, but also with your clients and your community, and just adapt and just do what you have to do.
One of the
don't feel like people are judging you for it.
Oh God, yeah. One of the things we've kind of talked about as a company is transparency is the newest currency to building trust. And trust is going to be needed now more than ever. Whether the customers trust being in your facilities, if they trust what is happening in the world, we're going to have to grow this way. So that's why we have to be as transparent as we ever have been before. I appreciate those things. And I think, when it comes to like, even how you are very transparent on like, I need to move this because X plus Y equals this. I think it's just really, I understand that like people can figure these things out if you just kind of plant that seeds and put it in front of them. And then just remember, I think a lot of us are going to change how we order and retail product too. We're not going to just stock shelves just to stock shelves anymore. Right. And I think what we're going to figure out is that how do we move things? And the one tip I have to say for anybody out there is to really try to increase your retail per transaction. So for every single customer that's coming in, try to up the retail. So usually a 15 to 16% is like a goal. 20% is doing really good. Try to push that as much as you can, because that's going to build your cash flow really, really quickly. And the reason why you want to do that is because for the last couple of months that product's been sitting on your shelf, it probably was on credit. So it's been actually, there's interest on that money that's been sitting on your shelves. So you need to move that money as fast as you can so that you're not accruing a lot of interest as well. So increase the amount of products you're selling per customer. So create systems. What I say is like, hey, Susan, here's a smoothing system. It's normally 150. I'll give it to you for $100. You know, get rid of the product so that you can cycle it. So you're not paying interest on the money that was sitting there for a while. With that being said, we are kind of wrapping things up. There has been other questions. So I will send out those questions if you do have those for who is watching us. I will get some answers back for you, but I would like to have some closing statements, and we'll kind of just go through each person. They can kind of give their final thoughts, whatever they're feeling, whatever advice they want to give at this time. And we're going to start from my view, which is going to start with Constance, and we'll work our way through.
Okay, first one. So much pressure. I guess my encouragement to everybody out there, I see a lot of comments or questions in the comment section, and I want you guys to know that there's no right or wrong answer right now. Every salon is different. You know, some of us are, you know, have tons and tons of overhead. Some people have less. Some people have booth runners and commissions. You know, it's just such a mix. And what the salon down the street is doing doesn't necessarily mean that's what you have to be doing. You have to look and see like what's best for you and your team and your finances, and don't let anybody else shame you or make you feel bad for the decisions that you're making, because at the end of the day, it's your business. So my advice is just to like stay in your own lane and like do your own thing, and like don't stress so much about what is like the right thing to do, like per the industry. Do what's the right thing for you and your team.
Love it. Thank you so much. Christy.
Yeah, I was definitely going to say the same thing, like stay in your own lane and lead your own team, because every salon is so different and every team is so different. And I think like everything rises and falls on leadership. So how we're going to lead our teams through that right now is going to have a huge impact. And the second thing that's been a big thing for me through this is just seeing the opportunities. And I feel like, you know, you can choose one side or the other, but if you look at it in the way of seeing the opportunities, there's opportunities to make changes in your business that you needed to make. There's opportunities to just learn and do better and bring in new things into your business that you didn't have before. You know, changing schedules, changing staff. I think there are just so many opportunities for growth. And so if you look at it that way, I think that we can all come out of this better and stronger.
Amazing. Thank you. Allison?
I would probably say focus on what you can control right now, because there's so much that we can't control. And you know, like Constance said, like focusing on your business. It's hard with social media and stuff like that. You see what everybody else is doing and all the opinions and everything, and you have to look within your business, your team, your clients, your area, you know, with how, you know, this pandemic is affecting your area and everything. I think it's just focusing in on you and, you know, what your gut is telling you, and like, you know, just the opportunities that you can have to just change things that you want to do. And we have the time for it now. So it's a great time to take advantage for it.
That's amazing. Thank you. Kim?
Gosh, everybody already we're just so on the same page, I feel like, with this, because it is like you see out there all of these decisions, especially on social media, that one person says do this, one person says do this, one does this, one does this, and my DMs fill up with all these questions of, should I do this? What do you think I should do this? And it's like, there needs to be more context around it, because everybody is so different, and it feels like you're scared to make the wrong choice. And so when it comes to making decisions, whether you are charging for rent, not charging for rent, you know, whatever the decision is, I think that the biggest thing is that you're leading with love and not with scarcity, because people can feel that, and they're going to remember, your clients and your employees are going to remember how you treated them and how they were treated and how they felt during this. And I mean, look at companies that we all have to deal with in general, just airline cancel, you know, how are the airlines treated you? I know there's airlines out there, you know, some of us are never going to book with again because of the way they treated us, hotels, everything, you know, take examples of that. And I think in doing so, it is in that vulnerability of saying, hey, I really want what's best for you guys, and I'm trying to my best. I'm looking at my numbers, like what Rachel said, like, you know, I want to do what is to survive this, and we're going to be doing this, and we're in this together. I care for you. I think that's the biggest thing, is just reaching out even to clients, just saying like, I'm thinking about you. I can't wait to get you back in my chair. I care about you so much. You know, it's not even just your business. I care about you. How are you doing? It's so simple just to lead with love. And so that would be, just piggybacking off everybody else said, that would be it, is like, do what's best for you, lead with love in the decision, and yeah, share your why with it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Rachel.
So, yeah, I agree with all of you guys. The only thing that I want to add is this is kind of like a blank slate. Like, we all get to kind of go back and we can view it as a blank slate, you know, a new place where we can create a new normal. So like things that maybe you wish you would have implemented like long ago, or maybe a policy or something that like you tried but like didn't commit to, like you can do that now. And, you know, and also like, there is no perfect like recipe for how to navigate this. And so, you know, again, with the whole no judgment thing and like doing your own thing for your own team. But also like, if you try something new and maybe it doesn't work out the way that you hoped it would, or was, you know, wasn't received the way that you thought, just like give yourself some grace and like, don't beat yourself up about it, and just try something else, try something new. And, you know, like we're not perfect. We're not going to always make perfect decisions. And yeah, I think my biggest thing is just like show yourself some grace and like just, you know, keep swimming. So
just keep swimming. Ashlee,
you know,
I kind of like what Rachel was saying about like your new normal in a kind of a way. It's kind of funny because, you know, if any of us women like had children and gone through a maternity leave, it kind of like feels similar in some ways, you know, where it's like you're coming back to work, you're a new mom, you have an infant, you might be even breastfeeding and having to take pump breaks. And that for me was a huge transition, because I went from working 5 days a week, 10 hours a day, to working 3 days a week, working maybe like shorter shifts and having to, you know, spread clients out because I was coming back slower. I did have to take those pump breaks every 3 hours, you know, and I was training a new assistant at the time because there's no assistant that's going to wait for you for a maternity leave, you know? So I feel like coming from that experience, that's kind of what I'm expecting is, okay, what are the things that I did that made it successful? Well, one thing, you know, Rachel just said is like giving myself some grace. I didn't have to come back full throttle, and my clients, they still came back. And also I could also be a little bit picky about which clients I did take back. You know, maybe there's a few clients that, you know, maybe you even need to fire. Like, I hate to say that, but you know, I think focusing on who those VIP clients are, the ones that take care of you, you take care of them, and giving yourself time to get back up to speed to the new normal, whatever that looks like, but also giving yourself an opportunity to restructure where you're spending your time in your business. So I think we alluded to this earlier in the conversation about, you know, maybe if you were working those crazy, insane hours and you realized how much you were missing out on your family life, now is the time to evaluate, you know, what is important to you. And the thing that's kind of interesting is, you know, going down from 5 days a week to 3 days a week actually gave me more time for the other parts of my business, which is including like creating content for social media. So people say, oh, social media is a second job. Well, yeah, it is, but where are you going to take that time from? Are you going to work 50 hours a week and then work another 40 on your social media and never see your family? You know, so you got to find like that balance with your business. And I think this is an opportunity to give yourself give yourself that and not approach it in a way from just total fear and desperation, but look at it as an opportunity to kind of evolve and restructure where your focus is going to be.
Love it. I think, I think like Kim said, we're all on the same page here. I think we all agree, and I loved your perspective. I think that's so great. Allie.
I think that this is the most rad group of girls that we could all be talking here. I'm like, y'all are so smart. But I just think that this time is about balance, like Ashlee was just saying, and parting ways with some guests that gave us anxiety or kind of stressed us out. I mean, I think that we can look at it like, oh crap, we have no clue what's going on. But I'm looking at it as like the freedom at the end of all of this, and being able to kind of prioritize my health or the things that I want to do that I was like, oh, I'll get to that later. It's like, this is the time to be able to come back strong and have a better plan. So that way we can execute that. So I think that if we like all keep doing things like this and staying relevant and staying on top of it and being able to talk to a bunch of like empowering women, I think that that'll set us further in the right direction, and we'll come back and kind of have some sort of order when this is all said and done.
Love it. Michelle?
You know, I keep thinking about everything everybody's saying, and there's a quote that's circulating, and it says, when we go back to our old normal, think about the parts of that old normal that you actually want to go back to. And I can't help but be inspired by really thinking about that, and just have the courage to truly sit with yourself and think about those things, what you need, what your team needs, what your clients need, and don't get so on the hamster wheel of what you think it has to be and how it's always been, that you're holding yourself back from what your heart really knows that you need to be better for yourself and for everyone who's around you.
So great. Thank you. Hollie.
Okay, so to kind of touch on what Ashlee was saying, now is the perfect time to restart. I have a friend who I was talking to yesterday, and she works with me at my salon, and she doesn't know if she wants to go back to doing, you know, the whole spectrum of hair that we normally do. She loves doing haircuts. She finds, you know, joy and passion in cutting hair, and not so much in any of the other stuff. And so I told her, I was like, when you go back, it's a fresh start. You can just go back and do haircuts. You don't have to take your color clients. You have a whole you know, group of people who, you know, you can send them to, and then, you know, that they come to you for the haircut or whatever. Now is the time, if you want to completely revamp your business, put it into motion right now. Let your clients know, and then when you come back, it's going to be how you wanted it to be. And then to touch on what Kim had said, leading with love, check in with clients, you know, make sure that they're okay. And if they have a problem, give them a solution for it. I mean, that's what I was doing with, or what a lot of us were doing with the color kits. You know, give them what they need right now. If they need product, if they need kits, if they just need somebody to go to the grocery store for them and they live local, you can do a drop off. That's things that they will remember and, you know, be very grateful for when this is all over. So do what is good for your clients and for yourself, and not just what's popular online right now.
Love it. Well, with that, I think my final thoughts are, you can't pull from a half poured cup. You know, you have to like make sure your cup is full first. So I think we learned about taking some breathers, focusing on ourselves, make sure you understand where you want to go and accelerate before you hit the gas. And speaking about that, I think I want us all to remember who's driving the car in our lives. And I think so many times we like look in the rearview mirror and we're expecting others, whether it's, you know, a CPA or a bookkeeper or someone to tell us how to plan the future, or a business coach or this or that. But like ultimately you're driving this car yourself, and you need to make sure that you're on the right path of where you need to go. So take some breaks, take some breathers, figure out what road or what journey you want to take. And one thing I want to say is like our whole customer journey, our whole world has changed. So when you are, we were thinking about business before, we were thinking about profit first, right? Profit first mentality. We want to make sure we're profitable every single time, which is great. But I want us to kind of think about break even first now. Now we need to break even first. So we need to make sure we're breaking even. And then the next step is profit first again. So the only thing I want to say is make sure that every single customer, you're increasing your percentages. So increase the amount of products you're selling, increase the amount of gift cards you're selling, and increase the amount of add-ons you're doing every time you're taking those guests back as you're doing, because that's how you're going to maximize a little bit more cash flow at that time so you can project what's going to come through in the future. Nothing is better. Cash is king. So it's really important to make sure you bring as much cash into your business as possible. So take hold of that driver's seat and teach the people who are with you in that car where you want to go. And this is the time for you to make the adventure that you've always wanted and not worry about what others are thinking of you. So with that, I want to say, like, these drivers of these cars that are with me today, they drive incredible cars. You should check them out. But one thing I have to say is, like, they take control of their vehicles and they take control of their lives of where they want to go. So if anyone's watching this and listening to this, is like, take the inspiration that you see, that you're hearing or you're seeing in front of you right now, and realize that when you actually take control of these things, you can make amazing things happen. So just like amazing things have happened prior to COVID, I am just certain that everybody here is going to make amazing things happen after. So I thank you guys so much for just showing up and consistently being here for this industry, and being there to answer these questions that are, in our DMs and consistently growing from there. Thank you for being the leaders that you are and making sure that you're bringing nothing but positivity back to this industry. And thanks again for spending the last hour and a half with us, and everybody watching here. Thank you so much. And I cannot wait to one day see you guys in person, but we will definitely embrace the digital age as we are doing right now.